Okay, this is the first year it gets really hard. Then again, 2004 we had Monster and Paranoia Agent, so that was also quite hard. 2006 had a bunch of massive animes, as well as a certain not anime. Right away, I will admit this is not my anime of the year, but I need to talk about it because for the longest time, I was convinced I had made this series up, because no matter what I searched up, there was no reference to it existing. However, roughly 5 years ago, when we were all locked inside, nothing else to do, I was casually scrolling through Reddit or Facebook or some website, and there was this post with a poster on it for this series called Oban Star Racer. And in that moment, I thought, it's the thing, I'm not crazy, it exists, it's real, I'm not crazy. Look at the thing exists. So I looked up on YouTube, I found the whole series, I watched the first episode, and this series is fine. As a child, I'm sure I thought it was the best thing ever, but as an adult, I can acknowledge the series is probably pretty good, but it's probably a kid's series that I remember being really, really dark later on in the series, but from an adult perspective was probably just child dark. But it wasn't enough to keep me interested, so let's move on to the other candidates. I probably will one day finish it, maybe, but not anytime soon. What happens when two worlds with two different species begin to collide, and the human race is the more vulnerable of the two? You get Digimon Data Squad, the 5th series in the Digimon franchise, where humanity is aware of the Digimon, and the government has created the DATS organization, an organization to capture and contain and research Digimon that have slipped through from the digital world to Earth and discover why more and more Digimon have been showing up. As much as I love Digimon Data Squad, I can admit, even with my personal preference, it can't rival the other animes that came out this year. But damn, that was a really good series. And I kind of want to give it Anime of the Year, but I can't. But I can go back and watch that as an adult and be like, this is a good piece of media. Whether you're a child or an adult, Digimon Data Squad goddamn holds up. And one of my favorite clips on YouTube is a clip of Marcus fighting Beamon, but the person who uploaded it literally titled it, Marcus punches a fucking bird. And I love that. Ergo Proxy is another amazing series that I have never watched. No idea about the series, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. And is one of those series that really makes you think. Even so, because I've never watched it, I can't justifiably give it Anime of the Year. Another series that I don't think I've watched, I know I've watched, but whether I watched it or just consumed it, is Welcome to the NHK, which is an interesting series that I first watched when I was about 13 or 14. And I did not appreciate the series for what it was trying to say. I just kind of thought it was boring and dropped it after a few episodes. However, as an adult, I should absolutely go back and watch it. I just haven't had the time. But this is a series that, as an adult, you will appreciate and understand the message of. Because I'm an adult now who can't spend 8 hours a day, every day, watching anime. Well, I can, but I'll end up like Tatsuhiro. Even so, I believe everyone should watch Welcome to the NHK. Because it is a series that appears to have only become more relevant with each passing year. Having Tatsuhiro believe in conspiracies that have absolutely no ground behind them, and blaming the NHK, the main Japanese broadcasting service in Japan, for actively colluding to keep down the everyday person by spreading misinformation, false information, or manipulative information to keep them unemployed and poor. I mean, is that not just the very essence of media nowadays? And that may be a conspiracy itself, but, well, I was going to say we have conclusive proof, but we know that information is controlling the world. That's how information works. And the amount of fake or false information intentionally spread by one person or another for one agenda or another, most likely for monetary value,
in this room dreams of driving their very own supercar?
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
This series was way ahead of its time. From what I've heard from watching and reading reviews is, this series gets really depressing and shows a portrayal of the world and its characters in a way that I can't say any other anime has. Welcome to the NHK doesn't romanticize the idea of being an otaku, a NEET, or a socially awkward kid. There's no happy ending, and everything just magically worked out for our main characters and they lived happily ever after. No, and everybody cheered moment. The story is just that of a realistic depiction of what various kinds of lives and lifestyles result in, even if it's not entirely your fault that you're living like that. It never vindicates its characters for their shitty behaviour. It instead acknowledges it and says, yeah, well, that's life. Your actions have consequences, and you're not the main character. What are you going to do about it? Welcome to the NHK is a unique series unlike any other anime I can really think of. And while I think it does definitely deserve the award for most realistic portrayal of the idolized lifestyle anime fans wish the otaku NEET lifestyle was, I can't give it Anime of the Year because there were some other juggernauts that came out this year. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is fine. It was massive back in the day, but I didn't find it until around 2015, 2016, so I can't really comment on the impact it had upon release. Back in the day, I made some videos on Haruhi back on my original YouTube channel, but I think by the time I found it, I had already been flooded with cutesy slice-of-life comedy series that were most likely made trying to capitalize on the success of Haruhi. But the series, whatever. I don't see the hype behind it. People have said it's a masterpiece. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I just never could get into it. I watched the entire series because, once again, this was during the period of my life where I would watch any anime as soon as I started. I would watch it through to the end. But I will never forgive Haruhi for the Endless 8 arc. So no, not Anime of the Year. God Knows still fucking slaps though. God damn, that song was good. As I said, I used to watch anime all the time. I'd watch any anime. I have been an anime fan almost all my life. However, during the early 2010s when anime was just starting to get mainstream and it was profitable and cool to talk about it, the internet was flooded with different articles talking about the top 10 animes you need to watch, the top 10 anime only real anime fans have watched, the top 10 animes that prove you're a real anime fan, etc, gatekeeping, blah blah blah, bunch of twats. And looking back on those sorts of posts today, it's obvious that none of the websites have actually watched any of the series, and they themselves were just stealing and regurgitating the same information they'd seen on another top 10 list that the original writer of that other list has probably stolen from another article, which most likely down the line of stolen content originated from someone Googling top 10 most watched anime series and finding a video of someone actually who had watched these series and then just taking their information, regurgitating onto a blog, and then someone copies that, 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 and we get flooded with these shitty top 10 anime lists because everyone needs to watch these animes. Because of this, on every single list I checked back in the day, there would always be one series recommended. Higurashi, When They Cry. And this series is shit. Or at least the first season is. And that's as far as I've watched, because I never got around to watch the second season. As far as I can tell, the visual novel was massively popular, which led to a manga adaptation, which was also very popular because it was just the source material turned into manga. And because it was successful, it inevitably led to an anime adaptation. Because who doesn't like money? But like too many series to name, the animation studio looked at the source material and thought, okay, so this is what made the series so popular. And then, you know, in true big brain fashion went, let's streamline the story and remove any of the parts that made the series so popular and dumb down all the important parts to fit it into an anime series, with a main focus on the gore factor instead of the amazing writing. Which is why I think it appeared in everyone's top 10. Purely because of the gore factor. That's all I remember about the series. I remember everyone talking about how goddamn gory this series was. So morons who don't know any better think that makes it popular because everyone's talking about it. Just because someone's talking about something doesn't make it good. Which leads to journalists writing articles without even seeing the series, claiming that it's a must-watch, using the regurgitated words of a stolen summary from another regurgitated slop article, which also most likely didn't watch the series. There was so much shit in the 2010s, and now we're going back around with AI. Fuck AI. Similarly, Ouran Highschool Club is an anime that often finds itself on everyone's top 10 lists. This series was pretty good. I don't have anything negative to say about it, but I don't really have anything massively popular to say about it. It's a good series. I'd say watch it. It is worth a watch. Is it amazing? Up to your interpretation. Is it the best anime ever? Up to your interpretation. Is it bad? No. But is it amazing? I didn't think so. I didn't think it was bad, I just didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was a perfectly fine piece of media. But people talk about it as if it's a masterpiece. And maybe it is to them, but to me, I thought it was a perfectly fine piece of media. A solid 6.5 out of 10. And now we have the GOATs. The animes that to this day, people still argue which is better. The animes that only the truest intellectuals can appreciate. Pizza and potato chip lovers. Death Note and Code Geass. These are two animes that need no introduction, but I want the watch time, so I'm going to do it anyway. Because obviously a smart person who has exquisite taste enough to want to watch my content must have watched both of these masterpieces. And if you haven't, wow, that's, in its own regard, is pretty impressive. Death Note is Death Note. It's pretty self-explanatory. A god of death drops his notebook into a human world because he's bored and wants to see what happens. Can't blame him, I'd probably do the same. Luckily for him, the best person possible found it. A top-of-his-class edgelord with a god complex called Light Yagami.
I will become the god of this new world.
Who decides he was chosen by God to rule over the world, so begins using it to kill criminals. Because all one needs to do to kill someone with this death note is know their face and know their name and write it down. Before long, the police start connecting the dots and realize that someone is targeting all the criminals of the world. Someone the internet has dubbed Kira, so they bring in the world's greatest detective, L, who very few know the real name of, or even the face of. Throughout the series, we watch as the two fight a mental battle where L tries to reveal Light as Kira and Kira tries to uncover L's real name. Whereas Code Geass tells the story of a top-of-his-class edgelord called Leapt, who is gifted with the power of a god after a chance encounter, and can make any person obey his command once, as long as he makes eye contact. Which he has decided he will use this extraordinary inhuman ability to find out who killed his mother, the wife of the King of Britannia. Because the Leapt is secretly an exiled prince. So he teams up with a small group of freedom fighters in Japan to help overthrow the tyrannical Britannian Empire ruling over Japan. Unfortunately, Lelout's boyfriend, best totally platonic male friend, Susaku, has signed up to fight in the Britannian army, with the plan to rise through the ranks and change the racist organization from within, which leads to two of the best friends unknowingly fighting against each other. Death Note is Death Note. It is an amazing series. It is a solid 8 out of 10 with some really dumb moments. But overall, still really good. Same with Code Geass. It is a really good series with some really dumb writing at times, but also some really compelling writing that, to this day, many still argue about the ending of Season 2. However, Brian Drummond's voice just does something to me that I cannot put into words.
I did it because I was bored.
The same with Willem Dafoe's.
Oh, yes.
However, that also means acknowledging the existence of the live-action Death Note. Shit. But, even so, I'm going to choose Death Note over Code Geass because Code Geass R2 has this scene in it that, even after close to 15 years since I first watched it, still pisses me off because why? Why does this scene exist? Why does this knowledge exist? Why did they include this in the stories? And I think about this dumb shit of a moment so often that I cannot put it out of my head. And I think beyond the occasional dumb moment, Death Note is a series that holds up to this day, and is a series that would never have been made today due to how slow it is. Same with Code Geass actually. It is a slow series that has an amazing story with one really dumb moment in it. God, I hate that moment. Check out this video to hear what my pick for 2007 was.